Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my August book haul. I thought about combining this with my September book haul as it is so late in the month of September now, but in the month of September, have collected so many books, and I actually have a reasonable amount here for August as well, that if I combine the two, the video would just be so long, so I decided to just film this August one separately, so that hopefully these videos aren't too long. I also mentioned that I may be filming some videos at my parents' place while I'm staying there, but it just made sense to film this here at my place because all of the books were here, and it was just easier rather than carting them to my parents' place and then having to cart them back. So we will, as always, start with all of the books that I picked up from the library in the month of August. The first book that I picked up from the library in the month of August was Mad About the Boy by Helen Fielding. So this is the third book in the Bridget Jones series, in case you couldn't tell. I believe this one is set quite a ways after the end of the second book. Like, the first two are kind of set quite close together, but this one I believe is set years and years in the future, and I think maybe Bridget has children in this one. I don't really know anything about what happens in this apart from that, but I did read the first two, so I do want to finish the series and kind of see how it ends. The next book I picked up from the library was Sisters Red by Jackson Pierce. So I believe this is the last book that I needed to pick up for one of the goals that I have for my 2017 goals, and I don't really know too much about this except that it is, I believe, a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. And I think this might be the first in a series of retellings, kind of like, you know, Lunar Chronicles, but I believe these may be a bit more adult as opposed to young adult. So hopefully this is a good time. Next, I picked up volume 4 of Giant Days. I'm really excited to get to this because I have been really loving this series, although the third volume was not my favorite, so I'm hoping that volume 4 kind of gets back to a bit of how much I loved it in the first two volumes. Following on from that, I picked up volume 1 of Fruits Basket by Natsuki Takaya? I'm sorry, I'm definitely butchering that name. So this is volume 1 of Fruits Basket. This is the collector's edition, so I don't know if that means it's got like a whole bunch of different volumes in it. I'm not too sure. I was at my library. As you know, I've recently gotten into a bit of manga. I've read Death Note and Orange, and so I was at the library and I was interested in getting into something else. And one of the main series that I'm interested in getting into that I've heard about is, I believe it's called Doubt, and I think it's like a slasher horror one, but I can't find that at the library. I've looked on the online catalogue and I just don't think the library in South Australia has it. So I was just browsing like what manga they had at my branch of the library, and I saw this one, and I have heard about this, I think mainly from Kristen over at Super Space Chick. I don't really know what this is about. I think it's something to do with, yeah, that they can turn in, when embraced by the opposite sex, they turn into the animals of the Chinese zodiac. So I thought I'd give this a go. I'm not sure how much I'm going to enjoy really contemporary manga. I know that I read Orange and that's quite contemporary, but there were only 2 volumes of that, and I think it was a bit more like deeper contemporary, and I think this is more like really like a light-hearted type of contemporary, so I'm not sure if it's going to be up my alley, but I thought I would give it a go. Next from the library, I picked up Plum Lovin' by Janet Evanovich. This is another one of the novellas in the Stephanie Plum series. I believe this is 12.5, and I did just read book 12, so I decided to pick this up. And I believe that once again this follows, it has the same character, I think, from her other series. I think his name's Diesel, and he comes into this, and it's just about that. I didn't love the other novella, but you know, I'm reading everything in the series, so I just figured I may as well pick this up. And I did also, the last book I picked up from the library in August was Lean Mean 13 by Janet Evanovich, which is of course the 13th book in the series. So now let's move on to the books that I purchased with my own money in the month of August. I do of course have the books from my monthly book depository order. So the first of those that I picked up is Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. So this is a classic, obviously, and it's one of the classics that I read a year or two ago. I think it's the first classic that I picked up after I got through Jane Austen's collection, if I recall. And I really, no, that's a lie, because I picked up The Woman in White. I think it's the first ones that I picked up apart from Austen or Wilkie Collins. And this is set in the Victorian England, and it follows Lady Audley, basically, who, she's not the main character. I believe the main character is a guy, if I recall, but Lady Audley comes to like this small, like, village or whatever, and she obviously has like a dark secret, and she's quite a villainous character, Lady Audley. which I loved, because for this age to have a female villain is very, very ahead of its time, I feel, and I really, really enjoyed this. I believe I gave this 4.25 stars, and I did really love it, and so I decided to purchase myself a copy. So I got this Penguin English Libraries edition. The next book I picked up is Sweet Peril by Wendy Higgins. This is the second book in the Sweet series, I think it's called, and it, I think, follows people who embody the different 7 deadly sins, and I think maybe the main guy embodies lust. I don't know, something like that. I do own the first book, so I picked up the second one, and the last book I ordered in that monthly order was The Fantastic Beasts, the original screenplay by J.K. Rowling. I've wanted this for a really long time. I just think this edition hardcover with the gold foiling is so, so beautiful, and it does, as I'm sure you've seen, have the Niffler on the naked hardback, and even the end pages are really, really beautiful with the, I don't know if you can see that, the green with the gold stars. It's just really beautiful, and I do want to read this because I did enjoy the Fantastic Beasts movie, so I do think at some point I will sit down and have a read of this, but yeah, I did really want to add this to kind of my Harry Potter collection. Next, we have a bunch of books that I picked up on a trip to Savers. I didn't get too many. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, more than I should have because I shouldn't have gone at all, but I do have 6 books here. So the first one was My Name is Memory by Anne Brashares. I don't know too much about this, except it seems like a story about a boy and a girl who have like always been in love in like past lives or something, but she doesn't remember, but he does. So, I mean, it's kind of a cliche storyline really, but I do enjoy Anne Brashares. She wrote the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series, and I've read a couple of other books by her, and I do know that this is on my like physical to read list. I believe it's on the next page to the page that I'm working on, and so when I saw it there for $3, I just decided to pick it up. Next, I picked up The Mad Woman Upstairs by Catherine Lowell, or Lowell, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. This, I was drawn in by the title, The Mad Woman Upstairs, and this is, oh, it looks like this is an ARC copy, so that's interesting. This is about a girl who is a descendant of the Bronte family, like Charlotte, Emily, and Anne, and I believe it's about her delving into her family history and like maybe uncovering like a buried secret within the Bronte family. It says, a witty modern love story that draws from the enduring popular classics. So I say the title really is what drew me in, but it does sound quite interesting. Next, I found one that I was really excited to find there. As soon as I saw the spine, I immediately grabbed this out. I was so excited, and that is The Butcher's Hook by Janet Ellis. I've wanted to read this for a really long time. As soon as I heard about this, I was intrigued by it. It is about a girl who, she falls in love, I think, with the butcher, but it's like a historical fiction, but it's quite dark from what I understand. I can't remember too much about it apart from that, but I was really intrigued by this when I first heard about it. I actually really love this edition too, so I was really excited to see this there for $4, so I immediately grabbed that. I also saw a copy of Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Backman. So this one was $3. I have no idea what this one was about, but I have another one that I picked up secondhand as well by Frederick Backman, and I know that people have really been raving about his book, so I decided to pick this one up. Next, I picked up The Girl Who Fell by S.M. Parker. This one was another one for only $3, and I believe this one follows an abusive relationship in high school, and I've actually heard Trina really praise this one. So when I saw it there for only $3, I decided to pick it up. And the final one I picked up on that trip to Savers is Try Not to Breathe by Holly Seddon. This is one that I recognized as soon as I saw it because I have marked this at to read on at some point on Goodreads. This is a thriller, I believe, and it's about two girls. One is in a coma and one is, I believe, an alcoholic, and she's investigating, I think, what happened to put this girl into a coma, because I believe she's in a coma following an attack, and they like grew up in the same area and have lived like very similar lives, and it's about her investigating what happened to this girl, I think. But as I said, as soon as I saw this, I recognized it from having marked it as to read, so I snapped it up, and this one was only $4. August also happened to be one of those months where I place an order every month, but sometimes with timing, I have 2 orders that come within the same month, and that happened in August. So I have another 3 books that I ordered from Book Depository. I swear I didn't order more than I was supposed to. These just happened to come in in the same month. The first one I picked up was My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. As you know, I'm a big fan of Daphne du Maurier, and I read this recently and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to pick up a copy, and this is the edition that I picked because I really, really liked it. I also picked up Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling, John Tiffany, and Jack Thorne. I will read this eventually probably, but I spoiled myself and read like ages ago and read like a kind of synopsis of what happens in this, and I wasn't too thrilled with what I read. It just sounded ridiculous. I think this is the type of thing that if you see the play, you'll totally love, but in this format, it doesn't really work, and I've just heard so many mixed things about it that I'm a little bit terrified, but I did pick up a copy and I do plan to eventually read this. And the last book that I picked up in the month of August was The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I've been excited about this for a really long time because if you don't know, I read Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda last year. It was my favorite book that I read last year. I absolutely adored it. So I've been really wanting to read this. This is a young adult story about a girl, I think her name's Molly, and she's had lots and lots and lots of unrequited crushes. And then one day, I think her twin sister falls in love with another girl and has a relationship with this girl, and Molly, I think, has a crush on the sister's girlfriend's best friend, who is a boy, and then she also starts to develop feelings for her male co-worker, who is not the type of guy that she thought that she would fall in love with because he's like geeky and chubby and things like that. And I think there's also some representation of overweight main character, because I believe that the main character deals with body image issues, and also I believe that they're Jewish, and there's the twin sisters are lesbians. Just got a lot of representation. I loved Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, so I'm really excited to get to this because I'm sure I'm going to love it. So those are all of the books that I picked up in the month of August. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've got any thoughts about any of the books that I read or any books that you picked up in August that you're really, really excited about. I would love to chat down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. But that's all I've got for this video today. Bye guys.